Hello everyone, welcome to Astro Life on Instagram. I'm your host Rochap. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot to turn on the light. Oops. Much better. Hello everyone, welcome to Astro Life on Instagram. I'm your host Rochap. I repeat it again. Oh well, it is very interesting. How are you today? I do find today is a little bit of a challenge. I don't know. How do you feel? But today is like, oh my God, a lot of things going on. Until now, I said, okay, fine. I have to come down and start today's Astro Live because today I have invited one of my friends, Fernanda. I haven't seen her for a long time. So, we're going to talk about the full moon in Cancer. Well, let me invite her first. Yep. Hello.
Hey, hello. How are you, Rod?
Oh well, what a day! I have a lot of things going on today, so it was a little bit of frustrating feeling that not easy, but well, I will survive. But how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
okay. Busy day
cool.
as well,
Yeah,
but okay. Yeah, going
yeah,
fine.
yeah. I was like, okay, today it's a lot of interesting things happen, and I was falling in the, I lost the password of an important login.
Oh
And
no.
then that thing's annoying, right? And it started like you try to get the password back, but they request a lot of a hassle and falling into another trap of a catch 22. You couldn't have this unless you have this, but
Yeah,
you couldn't
it's
have
horrible.
this unless you have that. And it's like, oh my God, that really drives me crazy.
Oh, I'm sorry about that,
That's all
Rod.
right, but
Really
I'm
annoying.
really, but I'm really looking forward to see you and chat with you here. Every time when I start to chat to my astrologer colleague, I start to forget what happening outside work.
Nice. Yeah, yeah, good. Yeah, I was looking forward to it as well. It's
Yes,
great.
I haven't seen you for a long time, and I'm really sorry for last time. No need to mention that, but I
No,
really,
no
yeah,
problem. No
I
need to
really
apologize.
forget. Yeah, I really forget that I booked Fernanda, and then I was like doing something else. That was, oh my
It
God.
was fine. It was really fine. Don't worry.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, today I think because you mentioned that the next couple of days on the 3rd of July,
Mm-hmm.
we will have a full moon. So
Yeah.
today we're going to prepare everyone for that full moon, right?
Yeah, yeah. Full moons
Okay.
are always great combination time in the lunar cycle.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always amazing because it's when we can really see the moon in the sky. And I don't know, we
Yes.
all feel a little drawn to that moon, isn't it? So I
Yes.
think there's always a big release of energy. So I think it's
Yes.
worthy talking about it. Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. I think, especially, I think this full moon is a sun in Cancer and there's a moon in Capricorn, and that is kind of, especially I think when moon in Capricorn is a little bit, there is like a kind of a moon is not comfortable. Traditionally, moon is not very comfortable there as a Saturn is like cold and dry, but the moon is need a little bit more moist, a little bit sympathy with the Saturn feelings. Like, come, no, you're not going to have
Mm.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an interesting combination, isn't it? Because that Sun Mercury is being ruled by that moon.
Yeah,
But the Sabian symbol of that degree of Capricorn in particular is quite
yeah,
interesting.
mm-hmm.
I did have a look because I like to look at the Sabian symbols to have a little like imagery to play with when I'm
Yeah,
thinking about
yeah,
the full moon. So the Sabian symbol for 11 degrees Capricorn, so that's the degree that this full moon will be happening, right?
yeah,
So the image is a student of nature lecturing, revealing little known aspect of life. So it's got something to do with observing things that other people miss. I do
mm,
have a sense with this full moon. There's something about learning.
yeah,
There is a strong feeling of learning something, expanding our awareness of something,
mm-hmm,
something useful, valuable,
mm-hmm,
connected with our intuition as well, I would imagine, or our goals as well, because that's what Capricorn stands for.
yeah,
Goals and ambitions and where we at in our in our process as well. So I
mm-hmm,
thought that was an interesting Sabian symbol there for the moon, for the full moon. And
Yeah, I
it's
read.
positive, I guess.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I usually like I want to jump into because the Sabian symbol is a one thing. It's a really, to be honest, it's like a very mysterious.
Yeah.
It's a we know how they get to there, but so you just like why? And
Yeah.
for me somehow that is a beautiful image there. But in another side, I would say I don't like to say that now, but I tend to have a very super rational mind,
Mm.
and then I say, you know,
What
I
does that
think
even mean? Yeah,
yeah,
I know what you
yeah,
mean.
yeah. And but it is interesting until my friend pointed out, hey, you're astrologer. I was like, oh, thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah. I think what I like about the Sabian symbols is more like the imagination of it than anything else.
Yeah,
Like it's like
yeah,
it's just an image for us to play around. And
yeah. I
I guess
agree.
what I like about it as well is that I do believe that the degrees of the zodiac,
Mm.
the zodiacal degrees will have
Mm-hmm.
something special and unique about each one. It's like a
Mm-hmm.
26 degrees will have a different um,
Yeah,
feeling than a 6 degrees, or
yeah,
I don't know. And I kind of I sympathize with that idea. I sort of
yeah.
empathize. I have this. I feel drawn to these ideas. Let's put it
Yeah,
that
yeah,
way. Yeah.
yeah. That is very interesting. I think I did when first I heard about that, I feel it's so magical. I bought a book and then I start to do the study and the research, and that's what I say. When my rational mind kick in, I realize how they get all this
Mm.
poetry or sentence out. I was like, ooh, am I going to do that? Like,
Yeah.
that was interesting. My battle between my rational mind and
Mm.
my poetic mind, and that's why I said, okay, I couldn't get into it, so I move on. I do something else. But I know lots of my friends around me. Even I think Melanie loved. I think one of my tutors, Melanie Reinhardt, she loved applying the Sabian symbol too.
I can't
And
imagine.
I think also one of my friends, I remember another my friend who totally changed my mind is the Giulio Pellegrini. He also mentioned about that from time to time, and it's a very interesting. So yes, I think there's and you say when they have a meaning with like the um, learning and the teaching things, but I think also if we look the full moon chart, the
Yeah.
sun is right next to Mercury is right next to the sun,
Yeah.
so there is a meaning about it. So is there any important aspect we should focus on at this full moon chart?
Well, I really love and I guess the learning for me also came from this. So I love the trine between the moon and Jupiter. So Jupiter is a 9 degrees Taurus, right?
Yes,
And the moon
yes.
is 11 Capricorn. So I like that trine between the two. And again, I have this sense of, because I like to see the full moons as a combination. So something
Yeah,
becomes very clear to us. And
yeah,
sometimes that comes through as strong emotions. So we become very
yeah.
emotional about something. We feel very strongly about something. A situation in our life
Mm-hmm.
becomes very like acute, and it's almost like an emergency. It's like, oh my God, this big drama is happening in my life. But I feel that that's kind of showing us something. So the feeling I have with this full moon is that something will be shown to us about our growth with that
Mm-hmm.
trine to Jupiter, and
Yeah.
also the sextile to Saturn, which is
Mm-hmm.
the ruler of that moon. So there's a sextile there as well, which is,
Mm-hmm.
not super tight
Yes.
in orb, but still there.
Yes.
And because it's the ruler of the moon as well,
Mm.
and because it's retrograde, I feel that we're going to have some kind of revelation career-wise,
Mm-hmm.
work-wise.
Mm-hmm.
If you're at a stage in your life that you're not sure what your goals are, you don't know what your
Uh-huh.
objectives are, maybe you can have some clues about that. If you have an idea already, but you feel that you haven't, either you haven't got where you want it to be, I feel that we can learn something about
Mm-hmm.
that path.
Mm-hmm.
And the growth that has a connection with that Capricornian, ambition.
Mm.
We want to get somewhere. We want to develop and play a certain role in
Mm-hmm.
society. So I feel that we could learn something from it,
Mm-hmm.
and some kind of download that we might be doing with this full moon that we might become
Mm.
very aware of.
Mm.
Yeah, what do you think, Ron?
Oh, okay, yes, I agree with you. The first things you talking about it, be aware about it, because the first things that the full moon visualizing, like you say in the beginning when you open it, is we can see the
Mhm.
moon's there. So we are more aware about our feeling, our emotion from the modern astrology's the
Perspective.
meaning of the moon, aspect of the
Mhm.
moon. And then with this Jupiter try the moon, try the Jupiter. I really enjoy what you say. It's about learning. It gives us a little bit of far sight. It gives
Mm.
us a glance of
Right.
the future and what can we do. Especially, I think, when Moon is Capricorn and Jupiter is in Taurus. Well, usually, I mean, traditional view, they both don't enjoy in this position. But fine, I mean, that is not that the place they enjoy, but that they also, bring what they can do. I think the both earth sign give us the flavor of the down to earth, uh, more realistic. So
Mm.
there is a dream, there is a view, there is a vision, or there is a plan for the future, and that is maybe not I want the world peace or I want the best things in the world, but I said at least we know how could we achieve certain
Yeah.
level of the good things in the
I like
future.
that. Yeah.
Mm.
This like we can make new plans. We
Mm-hmm.
can reassess our plans as well and our long-term goals because Saturn is also retrograde. So
Yeah.
we are already reformulating, review our structures, the structures in our lives and
Mm-hmm.
and the backbones of our lives as well. Like what do we stand for? Where do we want to actually commit our times to? And I think this full
Mm-hmm.
moon will emphasize that.
Mm-hmm.
Like what is it? Where do you want to put your time into? Because
Mm-hmm.
time is what, if not the most valuable resource you have,
Yeah.
and is irreplaceable.
Mm-hmm.
When it's gone, it's gone. We can't really just buy some more time
Yeah.
from somebody. So I think there is the sense of revisioning and retracing our plans and our
Mm-hmm.
long-term goals and being like, actually, is that achievable? That's
Mm-hmm.
another one. I think
Yeah.
it's like there's something really powerful in being able to set achievable
Mm-hmm.
goals, and this woman could help us to do that. Could be like a real clear revelation around goals that can be achievable.
Mm.
And as you mentioned, the Jupiter, the sort of like bigger vision, the
Yeah.
bigger perspective,
Yeah.
and then the Saturn retrograde being like, oh, hold on, let me reassess this. Let
Uh-huh.
me,
Yes.
go back and retrace this. So I really like this chart of this full
Mm.
moon. Yeah,
Yeah.
so far, like from what I saw. What
Yeah.
else do you see in this chart, bro? Do you
What
see
else I
anything else?
think this chart? I don't know which way I should go. Well, but I want to do a tricky things. I want to do a tricky things because this is a marketing things. Do you have any plan for the nearly any talk or anything upcoming talk and teaching project at this moment?
I don't think I do. I need to think about that. I've been
Mm-hmm.
working on my YouTube channel a lot more, so I have a lot of
Ooh.
ideas for some of the. I'm creating a video on Chiron, so
Oh,
I'm
okay.
reading Melanie Reinhardt's book,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
she's got
Yeah.
some really amazing like information
Yeah.
there. But as far as I can remember now, those are the things that I'll be really mostly focused on.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because I was like I was learning from someone else because I say usually we announce what we you do a little bit of advertising either from the beginning or either from the ending. But when you put it in the ending, people already left. So I said, oh, how about I put it in the middle? It's just kind of cut things in half. People were like, what are you doing now? I don't know. I just I just experience. People maybe hate me. Well, I would say that next week I will have to invite Monday to join me for the podcast. And also next Friday is also a Astro Academy of Astrology podcast with me, Mandy, and Marcus. On Monday, I think I have Jasmina. I will have an interview with Jasmina on her channel, on her
Oh,
YouTube, on
nice,
her Instagram. So we will talk about Big Star if I remember
nice.
correctly. Yeah, so it's quite a lot of things going on, and
Right on
anything.
the full moon, huh? This is Monday,
Yeah,
isn't it? The
right
full
on the
moon.
full moon, right on the full moon. That would be a podcast. I think is the 2 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Eastern Eastern Coast, U.S. East Coast time, and that would be, I think it will be 7 p.m. UK time. So just let you know, but it's not on my Instagram. It's just Minas. Okay, so we will announce that later. Well, come back to here. Another things I see, another things I see in here is about that minus aspect with Mars.
All right.
Yes. Usually, I think Mars try to kick something in. Mars with this 6K quadrant with the moon, Mars 6K quadrant with the moon, and a semi-square with the sun. That is, well, that could be bring some irritating. I don't know, in a described way, that could something slightly annoying us happening there. With the Mars in the Leo, 6K quadrant, the moon, and quincunx the sun. This aspect make me feel like we probably with a little bit trying to spend a lot of time or effort to showing what us capable to do, or to show our creativity with the Leo, Mars in Leo. But there is a lot of effort, and I don't know if I say that is right, but it's just one way to see it, because usually we say the quincunx or the not quincunx, sorry, the 6K quadrant bring lot of we spend a lot of energy and effort to do something, and feel frustrated and feel like probably like totally drained out. That things take our energy. I would like to say, well, yeah, there is a lot of things happening like this in our life. We spend a lot of energy to do something, but eventually it doesn't work. Yeah. So that is a frustration there. But I was just like, we have to learn to accept that. Yeah, we spent time to do something that didn't have immediate outcome. But then who knows in the future? Maybe this experience will nourish our development or the goal we are working to, because I think every time we fail we learn, and it will help us to achieve what we want. How do you see this setup of Moon Mars 6K quadrant?
And the semi-square. Very good observation there. I think you're right. I think for me it gives me the feeling of a frustration, of friction.
Friction.
Kind of is not as small enough to be ignored, but it's also not big enough to create huge drama. It's like there's something, and we're a bit like, what is this? And I think in the context of this full moon could be connected with like, okay, in the long haul, in the plans and the goals that we have, the ambitions that we have, are they matching the jobs we're doing? Are they matching the career we decided to go? Like the decisions we're making? And it's like, okay, so my passion is this and I'm putting energy into this, but I have a day job, and that day job is taking a lot of my time. So I feel that this could be under the spotlight with that 6K quadrant and the semi-square as well, of like our need for security with the Cancer and our ambitions, but also our need to be self-expressive with the Leo, to be creative in what we're doing. They're sort of at odds a little bit, and we're going to become a bit, we have an opportunity to become aware of them and to look at them in the face there and to see, okay, how can I mediate this? Can I actually mediate this or not? Can I go part-time? Can I, is that any solution to the situation? But I agree. It does have a sense of some kind of frustration there with the self-expression, isn't it? With the creative energy that Leo represents. Yeah. And in fact, Venus is a square Uranus as well.
That's what I was about to go into. Please, go on then.
So Venus is also square that Uranus. I think that Venus-Uranus that will be sort of imprinted in this full moon will also have an important impact, because it will repeat a few times, because Venus will go retrograde. So I think that aspect will become we can become very aware during the full moon because of the power of energy that's released during full moon, and then we'll have to revisit. And I feel that Venus is square Uranus is the challenge as well. There is there is a friction there as well that will be more clear. And I think with the Venus, it could be about our values. It could be not being very open about our values, or being very honest about our values, our individual, what we stand for. How we do relationships as well. Are we actually giving enough space to our partners, taking enough space? How are we doing individuality? And we will have a few months to really rethink all of that. But the full moon might be the moment when we actually have that fight. We actually have that, sudden separation, or that sudden need to have a discussion with the partner. Or, if it's connected to our values and money, then we might, something might come up and we might have to really look into. But I feel there's definitely a big friction there with values and individuation and freedom. How do you feel about that Venus square?
Talk about this, because when we talk about it, I just realized because this set of aspect is already step into the approaching phase. That means Venus is already starting to square Uranus from today. And that was exactly how I'm feeling with my online banking.
Yeah, you're right.
And I was laughing because when you talk about it, I was like, oh yes, this Venus is going to retrograde, isn't it? It's going to retrograde from the end of July, around the end of July, and then they will have a move forward, and they're going to, all the aspects at this moment is going to repeat that time, and it's going to have a little bit time for review, reflection. And that was very interesting, because I think that is because I was in the beginning, I was focused on this. Also, Moon is approaching to Mars, but it's so interesting because while it's approaching, these lovers is like one chasing another, and they were chasing each other for a long time. I think I like this image is bring from Darby Costello. I think when every time Darby talking about Venus and Mars, especially she talking about their conjunction, it's like a lover chasing each other, and they spend long time together for when they conjunct. So this conjunction is very funny because it looks like going to get that exact conjunct, but just happened right before Venus retrograde, and Venus said, "You know what? I'm not into it." Move away.
Yeah, actually. Yeah.
So it would be interesting. One of my interpretation, this is not about this full moon, but it could happen for next month around this time. It would be very interesting. We will see. We are chasing for something. I want it. I couldn't get it. Well, I was chasing harder. I will do all my best to get it. And suddenly, by end of this month, near the end of July, when Venus change the direction, say, you know what? I'm not into it.
And change my mind. Exactly. Yeah. And then we might change our minds again when it turns direct. It's like it's really important to not make any final, isn't it? It's like don't make anything final, set in stone. There's no way of like
I agree.
taking it back or anything like that, because we might really
embarrass ourselves.
To really look into your values, isn't it? Look into what's valuable to you, what's important to you. How do you deal with these things? I think that Venus and Uranus square there will be reflective of that free square to Uranus as well. I think autonomy, isn't it? Autonomy within relationships. Any codependence, I think, will be very, very challenged.
That is so important. And that's another theme of the Venus and the Uranus, isn't it? It's about the love and freedom. You mentioned it in the beginning, is a love and freedom, and I think this is also one topic. I think it is not, psychology is not my strength, but I noticed when I try to read some book from so-called some astrologer, they talking about this is the important theme in our life, love and freedom. It's like if we love someone, are we allowed to have a freedom? And yes, when the Venus with Uranus going to form the aspect, especially this square, probably going to reveal that theme. And I think, well, I probably can feel it because in my natal, Yes, in my natal chart, I do have the Venus Uranus aspect. So I can resonate with that feeling about You know, is that if we like something, are we going to hold on all the time, 24 hours, and never let go, or we allowed to have some space? You know, and this square definitely going to challenge that.
Yeah, we're gonna review our commitments, isn't it? We're gonna review where are we placing our values as well. Like, is it enough? Are you treated well enough as well with the Venus in Leo, isn't it? It's like we're gonna be like, well, hold on a minute, I don't deserve this. I actually want to be treated as a queen. So I think there's also like the self-worth that we're gonna be dealing with the Venus in Leo. Yeah.
You just remind me another set of aspects is not really tight, and I think usually no. I think I still decide to go in because it's calling me, so I decided to have a look. It's not usually we will not say in the transit we will not consider it is forming aspect with Mars and the Neptune. They are kind of nearly quincunx. I mean they have kind of a 2 degree apart. 2 degree apart. So when you mentioned about the Venus square Uranus, and there is a meaning, especially also Venus Mars aspect, then suddenly when I noticed this set of aspects, and then I just realized, oh, it's quite wild, and the over is too wild. So, but I think maybe there's a hint about confusing about action, you know, or yeah.
Well, I think it makes sense with that quincunx and the semi-square as well, isn't it? It's this underlying frustration, and these aspects in Neptune perhaps is this like with the underlying frustration, the underlying confusion of like, I'm feeling frustrated and I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know how to remediate this.
Yes,
you know,
exactly.
Sometimes we want. I think the whole. The fact that we're so immediate in our culture, in our society, it's like immediate relief and immediate actions and immediate responses. People message you, you're there, you get the message. And so maybe that is this discomfort of like, I want to do something, but I don't really know what's best.
I agree.
to be done.
Agree. Yeah.
The art of no action can be very, very challenging.
It is. And I want to share something. I think this frustration about this Mars frustration thing, because it is a big thing for me. I have a Mars in the angular of my chart. So Mars acted very, I would say it's one of the things stand out in my chart. So also I'm not appearing very Martian type person, but yes, underneath very, very Martian type. And there is the kind of a Greek mythology Alice type, frustration and anger type, because if you couldn't get what you want like him, and he was like a sort of war and angry and something, then while this Mars activated, it's quite interesting because I did few things pretty, let me say, childish. There's some childish behavior comes out, very immature. And I remember this, especially this week, because I was frustrated and I'm trying to take it out on someone else. Nearly. And I was holding there, say, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And I have a reflection. And I remember, I want to say it today. 2 of my friends, we are not particularly close, but just coincidentally, they were there for me. One is Sarah, I met in the summer school, and one is Teresa. Also, I met her in summer school, but in that case, it was in the conference. That time you were there. I don't know why we are talking about a particular frustration. And I said, I don't know why. I couldn't let it go. And I couldn't realize why I'm so angry about it. Then they both, I think in this maybe several years, maybe 5 or 7 years apart, they gently remind me, guide me, say, it's there because they say these are usually related to our own frustration. When you have that envy or anger toward to other people and you couldn't find the reason, does that hook related to what do you really want and you couldn't get it? And I was like, oh my God, they were right. I have to say that's why I named both of them. They really saved me from that kind of I was about to do something very stupid, very childish, and they helped me to guide. You never have enough good friends. They with their word, they helped me to make my attention toward to what I should really focus on, and that frustration, and that kind of urge or desire want to blame other people, want to accuse or attack other people, to bring it. That's because there is something you have to do, but you are stuck there. You block it. Someone block you, or you block yourself. You'd rather spending your time on that thing. Say, I want it. I attack other people, and spend your time. And I really, because today when we talk about this with that Mars, with that frustration of Mars, with the Sun Moon, and also with that, I say the nearly quincunx, just like that. Really, I want to share this with people.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so important. And so many times I think the anger is masking something else. Yeah. That's a great indicator as well, because it might be sadness, it might be grief, it might be jealousy, it might be so many different things. It's really important to do that movement of self-exploration, isn't it?
Yeah.
And really understand what's behind. Sometimes we might be angry because our boundaries are being stepped on as well, and that is the Venus Uranus saying, oh my God, I'm just gonna break off.
Yes.
Because you need some space or something. But absolutely, Mars frustration can be the indicator of so many other things.
Yeah.
And it's so important, and it's so good that your friends helped you to look at that from another perspective, isn't
that
it?
Was a lovely time. That was a really lovely moment. That was and it helped me. Like this time they were not there, but I just remember that, and I said, wait a minute. If you are angry like this for no reason, take it back and see. And it really is a kind of self-reflection, and I really appreciated my friend helped me that time. And also, today when we talk about it, it reminds me again, So I think astrology is a very beautiful self-developing tool especially if we understand the language of astrology and what they're going to tell us. It's like a beautiful. Yeah.
Take it as an opportunity to do that self-reflection, to look into these frustrations. Absolutely. That's this full moon now, right? It's going to enhance that.
Yeah.
It's going to have that color.
Yeah. So before we finish today's podcast, could you summarize a little bit what is very helpful, give some helpful tips for our audience about this Cancer Capricorn full moon?
Sure. I think during this full moon we can become very aware, use this time to really see what comes up to us in relation to what makes us feel secure, because it's the theme of the Cancer and Capricorn. But especially we might learn some precious information about our goals, our ambitions, what we want to develop, and the roles that we want to have as well in society, the kind of authority that we want to become in our lives. That's also Capricorn there. So we might have an opportunity to learn something about that. We might have an opportunity to really get some insight into planning, replanning, changing direction, focusing on that direction, or even practicing gratitude. I think that's a great way of
lovely
using this full moon. Be grateful for what you have in terms of your ambitions, of your work, what is it, the little steps that you've been taking. Acknowledge yourself during this full moon. I think this is a great way of using the energy.
Thank you. Wow, that's really helpful. And I always enjoy talking with Fernanda, and then I really hope that you can hear your website and your work with Chiron, and also soon if you have any webinar or workshop event, please let us know. We would like to share with everyone else here. Okay. Well, looking forward to see you next time. Thank you, Fernanda.
Thank you, Rod. That's great. Bye, everyone.
Bye.